Item J, the resolution authorizing the town council to create a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. Be it resolved that the town council does create a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee.
So moved.
Deputy Mayor Sakala, and a second by Councilor Mangini. Okay, discussion. Yes.
Okay, so first I want to go on saying that I think this is a great idea to start this committee. But to Zach's point, this is the first time we've seen it. And I think it's an important committee. So reading through it, I received this a hard copy at 8 o'clock on Friday night. I called my minority lead on Saturday morning. She said it was not on the leadership, which they've confirmed. So this is the first time tonight that I'm hearing all these wonderful people speak about it. And I have to say, I think it's a great idea. But there are parts of it that I have questions about. I think there's some of it I would like to see changed. I think this has to be tabled for a special meeting where we can sit together and discuss how this moves forward. I don't even know who wrote this draft up. Did it come from Ellen? Did it come? Who wrote this draft? Is it a draft that came from the state? I have no idea. So again, I think it's a great idea. I'd like to move forward with it, but I think it needs further discussion so that we all have input. I believe that would be the fair thing to do.
Councilor Ungar.
I want to thank a lot of the residents that came up and spoke. A lot of you said some really great things and have great ideas. However, I just read this last night. I was out of town, I didn't have internet access, and for the first time I read it was last night. So this is too fast for me. Some of the verbiage in here I thought was a little bit questionable because it could very possibly subvert our charter. So I think it just with a little bit more work, then we could have something better. That's all.
Councilor Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's important to have this discussion now. I mean, we've gotten a proposal from a group in town that's done a lot of work thinking about this, and we have this in front of us today. Personally, I think it's important to have insulation from the council. I think this committee should, be created to have somewhat of a charge and then do its own work on creating the rules it should follow apart from the council, because this stuff is sensitive. 100%. We heard a lot of people talk about the high level of emotions that these things bring up. And I think it's really important that politics shouldn't play a role. So I would support passing this here. I think letting them finish that work is really important. But let's finish discussing it today.
Councilor Mangini. No.
Thank you. Where do I start? This is a very important issue, as Councilman Hopkins just pointed out. Discussion is very good and healthy. However, this group has worked very hard to bring forward these ideas and to make a positive change in our town, in our society. I applaud them tremendously. I most definitely am going to be supporting this. I don't see any reason to have all kinds of discussion. It's a matter of being diverse and fair to all members of our society, of our town, and we need to start somewhere. And thank you to the group who started the ball. And let's carry the ball forward and let's get this done. Thank you.
Councilor Pisner.
Okay. So once again, I think this is a great idea. I'm not arguing that point. The point I'm saying is we weren't included everybody seems that side to know that this paperwork was in progress. I wasn't called and said, you know, we're having this. Would you like to meet with the folks? And I know you're smiling, but I never got a call. So is that inclusion? I'm sorry. I know maybe you think I'm out of place, but I want this to go through. And I want to work with you. And I want this to happen. But I'm saying that, again, the first time you read something, a lot of things go through your mind. And there's parts of this that I'm not comfortable with. I'd like to see some of the words changed. I'd like to sit and talk and ask you why certain things were written the way they were written so we can have a healthy discussion. That's all I'm asking for. So I'm asking you to table this so that we can have a special meeting. They can be invited, the people who did work on this, so we can collaborate together and come up with a good idea for this committee. That's all I'm asking, is to give us some time to digest this so that we do it right. So again, I'm making a motion that we table this to have a special meeting so that we can come together and put together a good committee. That's what I'm asking.
Councilor Ungar.
I just wanted to add that there was a comment made that you don't want to make this political. However, a whole half of the dais wasn't included in on this conversation from the start. So, and if this is going to be a council-appointed committee, you know, we'd all want to be a part of coming up with the committee and contribute to it, and we're going to appoint people to it. So why wouldn't you include everybody? I agree that we should table it.
Councilor Finger.
I'll hold off till.
Okay, Councilor Despard.
Just briefly, I wanted to say that I think this is like a decade or so too late, so I don't want to waste any more time. And I do just want to invite everybody here to Surge meetings. They happen on the third Wednesday of each month at 6:30. Usually it's on Zoom. We have a Facebook page, Facebook Surge. You know, it's a pretty known thing. And if people want to contribute more, that would be really great to see more people at our meetings. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Councilor Finger.
All right, so I like this. You know, I mean, it's a very, very, very good document. There's a couple of things I have issues with. And I just want you to hear, there's not much, just a couple of things. One is the term. Oh, shoot, sorry. I'm sorry. It's been a quick night. I'm sorry. I think this is a really good thing. But there's just a couple of issues, you know, wording here that I have issues with. The term length. You know, you have 5 years and you got 3 years. We don't have other committees that have those. I don't think we have any other committees that have those length of terms. I think if you can just think about it, knock it down to the way that we have other committees, their term lengths are 4 or 2 years, or, you know, whatever, 4 and 2. But these 5 years and 3s, you know, it just makes sense to keep it more consistent with other committees, the length of terms. The second thing I have is, do you have it, Councilor Despard, do you have it in front of you, this thing here? Okay, the diversity paperwork. Down where it says structure, okay, second paragraph down. All right, and on the third line, it says of color, members of the LGBTQ committee, individuals with disabilities and immigrants, right, to the United States. You see that? I like to make a motion to add legal before the word immigrant. Legal immigrants. That's just my feeling. You know, I mean, to me, it seems like you can invite anybody that comes across the board and put them on this committee. But mine's a discussion, but I'll be willing to table it. But I just, you know, I want nobody to get mad at me, but that's just the way I think, the way I feel. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. In fact, I'm not going to apologize for the way I think. I just think that the word legal should be in front of it. That's all. And those are the only two things I got. That was it.
Councilor Nelson.
So this this committee is to be formed to have an all-inclusive town. But right in the structure, it says, resident of the town of Enfield and shall not be an elected official or member of a town committee. What's wrong with a town committee member? And now one person has mentioned the budget. What's the budget? Says there's a budget in here to be set by us. What is it? I think that's a pretty valid question. Anyone? Through the mayor to the town manager? We're going to vote on something? We don't even know what the budget is?
But I think that it would most likely be funded through the process where you fund all the other nonprofits that come through the budget process. It wouldn't be connected to what you're doing tonight.
Well, but then why does it say the budget of the committee will be determined by the town council? If we're forming the committee right now, what's their budget?
They don't have one if you were to vote yes tonight.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Ludwig?
Yeah, my just concern too, I mean, I'd like to see the term limits be more consistent with other commissions. And I was going to bring up the budget question because there is other language that says, you know, they can commit it, they can petition the council for ad hoc funding of cost, limited to subject matter experts. So, I mean, I think we just need to have an idea of what it may cost because it sounds like there'll be ad hoc costs as well. And I think that's a fair request just to ask before we approve the committee. And again, and it sounds like they want to make some recommendations on our hiring practices. I don't know, does that have to be run by the union? I'm not saying, I'm just asking the question. I mean, these are questions I'd like to ask before. I think I support the committee, but this is part of the resolution. I mean, I don't know why we can't have these answers before we say yes. And especially with when we're saying there's going to be ad hoc funding, that always concerns me. And again, the terms of they should be more consistent with our committees and/or I agree if they don't want the council involved, I'm okay with that. But they shouldn't. Their terms should be similar to our terms and/or other committees that we have already. I don't see that's an unreasonable request. I mean, that's consistent. And again, I'm okay with not being involved if they don't want us to be. I'm okay with that. But I mean, 5 years and 3, I think, is a little bit excessive in my opinion. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilor Mangini, and then
just quickly, I think maybe we're missing the message here. The resolution simply and very, succinctly states, be it resolved that the town council creates a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. This resolution does not address specifics such as budgets, such as numbers of people and where they come from. I think I know the message here is that we're doing something like Councilman Despard mentioned that's long overdue to address issues of inequity and trying to bring people together, trying to have more compassion, trying to be understanding. That's the goal of this committee. This committee is, I don't see where the goal is, well, we have X amount of dollars to go and do this, that, and the other thing. The goal is to create the uniformity and the camaraderie and to make our town more socially acceptable. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but that's my interpretation of the meaning of this committee. So I definitely am going to support this, and I think we should get on with it.
Okay, thank you. Getting on to business with this committee. A few weeks ago, we made a commitment to not look the other way, not turn our cheek to an incident that happened at the beginning of, or at the end of August, beginning of September. We had a community conversation. Many people attended. And there's several of you that did not attend. And now, all of a sudden, that we have people that have taken the initiative and I think have done a pretty good job in coming up with a draft, and let me just say, a draft proposal on this committee for the, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, that this is the next step after our community conversation that we've had. This is the next step, that we've taken initiative. There were people that met, while many of us just threw it under the rug and we did not mention anything. Part of, and I'll take a little responsibility for myself. I was approached about this committee because that's the next step that was involved. When you have 1,000 or, you get 20 people involved, nothing's going to get done. All right? They took it upon themselves. They came up, and I think that this is a pretty good committee. Maybe there might be a couple of things that could be changed, on here. But on top of here, this is a draft proposal. It's a good proposal. Once this committee and we pass this resolution, then we can talk about different particulars. But, this is something that needs to be done. We're taking this initiative that we need to create this committee. And we're up here bickering because, I wasn't involved in it. I'm not going to vote for it. If you think it's a good idea, then vote for it. That's the bottom line. That's what we're looking at here. I think it's a good thing that this town needs. Change is hard for people, and I get that. If you think it's good, then vote for it. If you don't think it's good, don't vote for it. But, you don't have to say, I wasn't involved and I didn't have my 2 cents to put into it. You'll have your 2 cents to put into it.
That's a point.
Yeah,
of order.
point of
No?
order. Come on.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying, everybody can speak their piece. I'm speaking my piece, and we will move forward. Go ahead.
I have one more
You want
thing.
to address his comments?
Next.
Like you went after us? You want to address him too?
I just want to say one more
Yeah.
thing. Again, when something is given to us and we have to make a decision that affects the entire community, every single resident, we have to vote in mind that that's what we're doing, is taking every resident into account. So when I'm giving a document and I've got nothing on it, for me to say yes, even though I wanted to move forward, for me to say yes without my questions answered, such as budget, such as term, all I wanted was that we could go and have a civil conversation about this. That's all I asked for tonight, was for us to meet in a special meeting and have a civil conversation. And it was turned into a finger pointing. So I will abstain from this tonight, not because I'm against it, but because I need more information for every resident out there that will call me and ask me about it. And I will be happy to sit and speak with all of you.
Deputy Mayor Scala.
Just very briefly, I too actually was not involved in the creation of this committee and this draft. The first I saw of it was Friday. And you know what? I'm okay with that because it's not about me. This is a draft proposal from a wonderful community committee that is bringing this to us, and this is a great step too. And I'm okay because it's not about me. And I'm fine voting on this because I know that this is a great committee.
Thank you.
Just one
Councilor
quick,
Finger,
quick,
yeah.
So a couple of things. One is really the term limit is going to be my only challenge. I will remove my legal thing before the immigrants. Okay, I heard some whining and stuff like that about it, but I don't see where it says draft. Am I missing it?
Right at the top.
Next page.
Top of the second page.
So
My apologies, I didn't see it because I looked at the first page, only the second page I read down. So, yeah,
maybe, maybe at this point, motion to move the question.
yeah. Thank you, I'm good now. Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize, I
it's a
didn't see the
second.
draft. My bad.
Okay.
Point of order, yeah, I don't think you voted on the motion to table.
No, we haven't.
We're going to vote on the motion to table. All in favor to table?
You tabling it or no?
Okay, that's 4 and against,
I'm going to table, I'm going to vote yes.
5, 6. Okay,
This night's going to be
motion fails. All right. Now the main motion now, and roll call, Sheila?
Counselor Ungary,
I'm going to abstain.
Deputy Mayor Sakala,
4.
Mayor Crisati,
4.
Counselor Despard,
4.
Counselor Finger,
4.
Counselor Hopkins,
4.
Counselor Ludwig,
4.
Counselor Mangini,
4.
Counselor Nelson,
Against.
Counselor Pisner,
Abstain.
Counselor Santinella.
4.
That is 8 in favor, 1 against, and 2 abstentions.